Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for our Easter service. I'd like to share with you a reading from White Eagle that he gave in 1935, and although that's over 80 years ago, the words are still relevant for today. And White Eagle said, "We would like to point out that the basis of all Jesus Christ's teachings was the ancient wisdom with which he was fully acquainted and which he had studied not only in his incarnation as Jesus of Nazareth, but in other incarnations, in other lives. Let us remember that Jesus had been through every possible phase of human growth, touching the heights and the depths of experience. He spoke from the light within, viewing life not as a tiny corner of the map of the universe, but covering all creation. Jesus was well versed in that ancient wisdom which lies buried deep within the laws of the universe. In all his parables, he dealt with universal law, and to understand their full meaning, man must be in possession of the ancient secrets, the inner wisdom. This does not mean that man may be a great scholar, but rather it means that he must perceive life by the light of the Spirit within. For man contains all truth within himself. It is not necessary for any one of you to be versed in all the ancient religions, nor to be a great scholar, but to become as a little child. In all his parables, Jesus gave his brethren a key which few take and use, but most cast away. Jesus said, "Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, thy soul and mind, and thy neighbour as thyself. On these two commandments hang the law." The key is love. The keystone of this structure was and is the Christ love, or the Christ light. No man can enter the kingdom without the key of love. Jesus came to bring before man the great law of life. Jesus the Christ was the personification of that attribute of love, the central point of all creation, which he taught through his parables and demonstrated through his miracles. Man must realize that in these simple stories, told in simple language by the great master of the present cycle, contains in their beauty and simplicity all the knowledge which man needs on his upward climb to freedom. The contents of all the ancient and modern books on occultism are contained in the parables and in the sayings and the many teachings of the great master of occultism, Jesus the Christ. It is not easy for those who disbelieve in reincarnation to get a grip on the subject, as it is for those whose vision has pierced the veil and see life not as 70 years and 10, but as a grand cycle bringing man ever nearer to the eternal consciousness of God. Until man reaches a point where he can see no separation, where he feels at one with all people and the grand scheme of the Most High, then life is but mystery and heartbreak. Think of life thus, and your human sorrows and problems will cease to gnaw at your heart. They will fall into place as lights illuminating the way for the weary traveler. So take every experience in life and rejoice. And if there be sorrow in your heart, be not cast down. Just hold your head erect. Accept the opportunity which is yours through such experiences and absorb the wisdom therefrom. Then give great love to your brother by your side, who needs the love which you alone can give. And then I'd like to share another very small reading from an unpublished teaching of White Eagle. And we actually read this on Monday evening, and it touched all our hearts. The most important thing for you to understand is the significance of the life of the Master Jesus. So little is understood of the inner meaning and the power of that incarnation of the great white light. Not Jesus of Nazareth, but the light which flooded his being and used his physical form. This is the eternal light in which you will learn to live in full consciousness. Easter is a demonstration to all brethren of the inability of man to destroy God's life. However much he tries to destroy life, it will rise again like the phoenix. There is no death, and man cannot destroy life. This is the most important truth for everyone to absorb into his consciousness. Think about this, and as you work, remember that you are linked on that particular level of consciousness with the eternal light, the Son of God, the S-U-N, the Son. If a man is without light, he lives in darkness, and in darkness there is no light. So now, would you like to join me in meditation? And we will be focusing on that beautiful light that Jesus so beautifully portrayed in his life, in his crucifixion, and his resurrection. So now, let us put aside all the thoughts of the reading, and let us focus just on our breath, the gentle in-breathing and out-breathing. And as you breathe in, realize that you are breathing in the breath of God, that life essence of God. Breathe it in and let the light work its magic in your whole being, not only your physical body, your emotional and mental bodies as well. Breathing in that light and then letting go of all that is unwanted within you. Filling your body with that beautiful golden light. Breathing it into the physical body. Breathing it in to the emotional body. Breathing it in to the mental body. So that we become filled with light. And as we are filled with light, we are so aware of the inner light, the light of God, or the Great White Spirit, or whatever you want to call it, cosmic energy. And we are drawn right into the very heart of that light. Into the very heart of the sun. And we become one with the light. As we become one with the light, our vision opens even more, and we are aware of the figure of the Master Jesus. And we attune ourselves to the radiant light and love coming from his heart. Coming from his eyes. From his hands. And he repeats the words that he so often used in his life on earth. Love one another. Love. Love thy neighbour as thyself. And love thy Father God. Love thy Mother God. And we are so filled with love, it radiates out into our lives, touching those closest to us, blessing them, it radiates out further to our neighbours, and even further, spreading all over the earth. Spreading to countries in conflict, holding them in the light and love of God. Our love enfolds the natural world, including the plants and the animals, the mineral kingdom, and the earth itself. It enfolds those who we know are in need of help or healing. And silently name them now and see them enfolded in the light. Now, very gently, with that light and love so strong in our hearts, we begin to breathe our way back into this physical body. Bringing, as you come, bringing with you that deep feeling of love and peace, bringing it right down into your everyday consciousness. Coming all the way back into your physical body. Thank you for joining us for our Easter service, and we look forward to seeing you again for our service next week. And next week we are going to try a new format for our service, and we're calling it The Gathering. And rather than have somebody do a talk, we're going to have a circle, we're going to have a reading from White Eagle, and then we're opening it up for discussion. So if you'd like to participate, you could type in your Facebook page and we will endeavour to answer your questions. Until then, have a beautiful day.